What up, everybody? So, today I decided I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I am going to select a random movie from the Netflix top 10 USA movies right now, right? So, it's going to go ahead and actually do the top 10 USA movies, and I'll start with number one and go down into the very first one of a movie that I have not seen. Now, so it's got to be something that I have not seen. If I've seen it, I'm not going to review it because I already know what that's about. But I figured I'd do this. It's just a little bit of change up instead of me selecting stuff that I know about or I like or anything like that. Just gonna leave it up to random chance and do that. Um, and I'm gonna hope that I get a good movie. And just so guys know that I'm not cheating or anything like that, I will turn the camera around so you can watch me select what the movie is going to be, and then I go through it. That's what we're gonna do. Four Brothers, seen that. That's actually pretty good. Shrek Forever After, I've seen it. Thankfully, I do not have to watch that again. The Blind Side, I've seen it. So, movie is pretty decent, pay by the numbers type of deal with a semi biographical look at I think Jonathan Ogden. I think it's not Ogden, or Michael Orr. Um, Without a Paddle, I've seen that. It's okay. It's kind of like supposed to be like a buddies kind of finding their way or whatever, something like that. I saw it once. It's not a great movie, but not horrible. Um, Catch and Release. After her fiance's death, a woman moves in with his best friends and discovers she didn't know her late love nearly as well as she thought. Oh God. This looks not fun for me. Looks like that is Jennifer Garner. And it's gonna be one of those kind of movies. Okay. Alright, so that's the movie that I'll review for you guys. And hopefully it's pretty decent. So let's get to it. Alright, so I have watched the movie that Netflix provided for me. The 2006 movie Catch and Release. So I'll give you guys a synopsis of what it is and all that kind of good stuff and give you my review. So, Catch and Release is a 2006 American romantic comedy film written and directed by Susanna Grant, her only film as director thus far, and starring Jennifer Garner, Timothy Olyphant, Kevin Smith, Sam Yeager, and Juliette Lewis. In the film, after a woman's fiance dies, she seeks comfort in his friends, learning his secrets while falling for his best friend. Filming took place in 2005 in Vancouver and Boulder, Colorado. Catch and Release premiered at the Austin Film Festival in August 2006 and was released in the United States on January 26, 2007. The film bombed at the box office, earning $16 million against a $25 million budget. Okay. Um, so I'll tell you this before I get into the plot of it. I didn't read anything about it once I went and actually selected the movie, as you guys saw me select it, and I just went headlong into it, so I could have no preconceived notions about it or anything like that. Um, so I'll give you the plot, but at least now when you go ahead and actually read, the upfront, the preface about it, you know that it just did not do well, but that doesn't necessarily, it's not indicative of me because there's plenty of movies that didn't do well that I absolutely love. And there's some that do, super well that I hate and, everything in between or whatever. So, I pretty much go into movies with an open mindset. Even if this is the one thing that I'll put a caveat is romantic comedies are not, my genre. It's not something that I really like with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. So there are ones that can definitely do it and stuff like that and convey different things and stuff like that. So you can give any of them, some type of credence or what have you to it. So here's the thing about it is that the film in and of itself, it's very the characters are not very compelling. Um, one of the things I think the only the two characters that I liked in this, um, or there's actually a few different characters I liked overall, but they weren't given much to work with. I liked Julia Lewis's character um, in there. She was actually, you know, she was very kind of like the hippie, type of vibe to it. Just a single mother trying to kind of figure out her life and all that kind of good stuff. And I think she played that character pretty well. Um, Kevin Smith's character, who's a one of the fiance's friends, is endearing. He's a little too nerdy for what they were. I know what they were trying to go for with it, but he's a little over the top nerdy. But he deals with some very real issues following his friend's death, as well as just kind of struggling to kind of figure out what was going on because this fiance, the guy who dies, and this who was never cast, like this guy's not pictured anywhere or anything like that, which is kind of weird. Not even like a photo or something like that. Like they never cast this guy. He's just referred to in name only. But he obviously, leaves some good friends and what have you. So Kevin Smith's character is pretty decent. He's a little too on the nose as far as being like kind of the nerd loner type deal, but he's still one of his friends. Um, Timothy Olyphant is probably the best character in this film, and that's because he's meant to be um, to have a couple of different sides to him, and in that realm, he plays it pretty well. He's a pretty good actor overall, anyways. Whether you've seen him in like the Scream franchise or I know he's more known for there is a FX Western series that he's really super known for, and he's been in some other things or what have you. But he's a good actor. Uh, Jennifer Garner and Sam Yeager, who is one of the other friends for the character. And Garner is obviously the main focus of this, of being the fiance that's left. Just doesn't do a lot for me, honestly. And part of it has to do with the writing on this. I just think that it was very, that the story as a whole is not really compelling. There's a couple different ways that they could go with this, and I'm saying this in a way so that um, if you choose to watch it, you'll. I'm not spoiling anything for you, but where they want to go with the fiance's character is kind of all over the place. It's is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he this? Is he that? And so because you never kind of get a chance to grab onto anything about him, and ultimately you're kind of left with the whole factor of honestly I don't care about him. And and maybe that's part of the thing on there, but if I don't care about the person that these other people have lost, um, then it loses some of what they're going through because they're clearly going for aspects of all of them trying to deal with his death and what does that mean for them and their futures. um, there's just it's just not well written. I think this is where it kind of comes from. And so I think the actors do about as much as they can with the material. I think Jennifer Garner's character is just a little too all over the place. There's some things that she goes through. I'm like, okay, really? Um, one of the things I'll tell you that I do appreciate about Jennifer Garner, and it was kind of really put in my face in this film, is that she wears little to no makeup in whatever film that she's in, and I think that is really a credit to her. And the reason why I bring it up is because she's kind of a very um, average looking woman. She's not phenomenal looking. She's not ugly. She's pretty average. And she doesn't wear any makeup to kind of dress herself up to being anything more or less than. And that's one of the things I can appreciate about her is that she tries to play realistic characters, and she, is a I'm pretty sure she's probably a down to earth person, in real life or what have you. And so I give her props for that. But I just don't think there's much to work with. And the Sam Yeager's character, being the other third friend that we're exposed to, he kind of gets the short end of the straw. Obviously, because Timothy Olyphant and Kevin Smith are known commodities. This is 2006, so Kevin Smith has had a couple of good things with like Clerks and Mallrats and all that kind of good stuff. Timothy Olyphant is a known commodity there. Jennifer Garner is her character, so and Juliette Lewis is kind of a scene stealer. So this other guy who probably shouldn't have been in the film at all, to be honest with you, that the character shouldn't have been written at all. Maybe that would have given more time for some other things to breathe. And he kind of gets the short end of the stick. Um, so with that being said, as far as they claim this to be a romantic comedy, but there's very few comedic scenes in there. Um, the two funniest scenes actually have Kevin Smith, and he's like the only one that brings any comedy to the whole thing. There was a time where uh, Jennifer Garner is painting a room in this house, and Kevin Smith comes in there and says like, "Oh my goodness, you painted! Kind of looks like a tampon box, just tampon box." It just hit me as funny. Maybe because the rest of the movie at that point was just like mind numbing to me, and I'm trying to get into it. And then there's another part in there between Julia Lewis and Kevin Smith that's actually kind of funny, and I don't want to ruin it if you choose to watch the film or what have you, but you'll know it when you see it and stuff like that. And it's actually a pretty good one. Um, Overall, the movie, if I would give it a rating, I would say it is for just a general for me individually. I would give it like a D plus, D as in dog plus. Couple of comedic spots in there, and I kind of, a couple of the actors give a good try and get something out of this, and they could have just went so many different ways with making this more compelling, make the story mean more, so that I care about what happens to everyone and makes me invest in there. But it just doesn't happen. So, but the only reason why I don't give it a 12 feeling grade is because you could tell that people are trying. The actors are trying. There's a couple of good laughs in there. And I think the message overall that the film does kind of get there a little bit is that there's a lot dealing with, people's deaths and stuff like that, and how, other people can touch their lives despite not knowing, what, even if they didn't know the fiance as well as they thought that they did. um, he's obviously touched them in a way that he had good people. He selected a a good fiance. He went ahead and actually had good friends and what have you and stuff like that. So um, it's not a failing grade, but just not something. Would I ever sit through this again? No. Oh God, no. Um, but that's what I got for you on this. Catch and Release 2006 with Jennifer Garner. Um, Watch it at your own peril. Okay, that's what I would say. It's like that review of Catch and Release. If you did like it, um, please click like, share if you like the way that I delivered it, or you like everything that I went. Actually, just share this out there, um, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Um, I appreciate we got up to 20. We're up to 20 subscribers now. I appreciate that about you. Um, but again, I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to try and keep a regular schedule of doing various different things to review to see if you like it or not. Again, um, I will try and keep this consistent as far as reviewing movies, TV shows, podcasts, whatever it is that involves entertainment, so that you don't waste your time watching or listening to things that are just not great, at least in my opinion. So until the next time that I see you, take care of yourself.